For the purposes of focusing on our students with dyslexia, we are going to narrow in on the level of phonemes. And that is because phonemes are the most important um, sign of a student who might be struggle later with dyslexia, and the strongest predictor of later outcomes in reading. It's the smallest unit of sound. No, it's not exactly the same as a letter sound because in English there are more phonemes than actual letters. Phonemic awareness means that we are able to hear these parts of speech, these sounds in a word, and we are able to manipulate them and do different activities with them. So in this section, we're going to talk about those activities from the most simplest to the most complex. Here we go. Let's play with phonemes. The most direct, simplest form of playing with phonemes is phoneme isolation. So that can happen at the initial, the ending, the middle. And I put them in that order because the initial and ending are more accessible and more simpler, where the middle sound is often more difficult. So you'll have a student and you'll say, tell me the sounds you hear in man. And they say ma. It's often more of a struggle to separate out the middle sound from the initial and the ending. Let's do some practicing. So, phoneme isolation. We're going to listen to the sound in the word sun. Listen to me say the sounds in sun. S, n. What is the first sound that you hear in sun? Everybody, s. After we practice isolating a first, last, or middle sound, we can also practice blending sounds back together to create a word. So listen to the sounds in this word and get ready to tell me the word. S, n. What word do you have? Sun. I like to tell students that phoneme segmentation is chopping those words up. So I say, stick out your arm, and we're going to listen to the word sun the fast way and tell me the sounds in the word. S, n. What word? Sun. Now, here's where it starts to get challenging. And I always tell my students they've made it to the next level. So say the word top. Now add the sound s to the beginning. What word do you have? Stop. This could be presented as say the word top. Now add the sound s. What word do you have? Stop. What word? Stop. Now I've really helped them listen carefully and remember the first word that we said and add the new sound to that by holding on to those sounds and bring it together. Now we'll do phoneme deletion. Say card. Now subtract the sound d. What word do you have? Car. Notice I'm using images here. I haven't put any letters in front of our students. So when I have a slash around the letter, that means we're only listening to the sound. We aren't showing students any letters. Phoneme substitution. Say fort. Now change the t to k. What word do you have? Fork.
Another important skill is phoneme segmentation. So let's take a look at some phoneme segmentation assessments. We're looking at can young people hear a word in its entirety, like bat, and take apart the segments, the parts of the word that have a standard list of words. You're going to time that for a minute, and then you're going to count only the correct phonemes that are segmented. And this will give you an accuracy score.
As we're completing these assessments, we will notice that students often make these common errors. First, a student may only repeat the first sound of the word they hear. So you ask them to segment the word moon, and they just remember mmm. Students might recall only part of the word. It could be the first, middle, or the ending. Often, students with long term memory challenges just give you the ending of the word. So you said, tell me the sounds and stop, and all they remember is p. Student might recall the sounds out of order. So they could hear stop and they tell you p, t, ah. The student may not separate consonant blends. This is very common for all students if they have not been practicing and doing phonemic awareness activities, particularly. So we often think of like CL, like in clip, and we just think cl, I, or in start, and they give you st, art, and the word spin, and they say sp, I, n. Those are all indications that a student needs more practice with segmenting those smallish portion of language, the phoneme. And number 5, the student responds slowly and completes less than 5 words in 1 minute. This tells us the student may not understand the activity, or they're really struggling with um, memory and uh, any component of this and need immediate intervention. Also, it is important to remember that phonemic awareness is the single best predictor of a student's ability to read at grade level by 3rd grade. In my personal experience, every single student I have taught in the upper grades, 6th, 7th, 8th, even starting 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th, they have been identified with a reading disability. If I look back at their records, they had a history of struggling with phonemic awareness, and it was passed over because a student may acquire letter sound recognition. They may know all the sounds in the letters, but when it comes to applying that all together for then decoding and reading with automatically, uh, they really need those skills of phonemic awareness to bring that all together for them.